Ultimately, every hike is nothing more than a series of steps, both figuratively and literally. Every step that's completed is one less you'll have to take. This week's adventure spans 30 years and was initiated with a map I found. A map my father had plotted in the early 70s, the same map I would follow and finish the trip my father would never make. Join me, Trey Carskaddon, along with my friends, as we make our way around Oregon's tallest peak, Mount Hood, and take in the majestic character of this setting. We'll overcome weather and hardship while we revel in camaraderie in the culmination of a 30-year journey. And you'll see it here in this week's edition of America's Outdoor Journal.
America's Outdoor Journal. Brought to you by Guard Sports, Oshman's, and Sport Mart, where your next outdoor adventure begins.
From Oregon's largest city, Portland, Mount Hood dominates the skyline. An active volcano, it's little more than 40 miles as a crow flies from this northwest metropolis. This commanding vista would be our home for a week we'll carry with us the rest of our lives. For most, the 40-mile trip around 11,235-foot Mount Hood starts at Timberline Lodge. Located on the south flank of the mountain, Timberline Lodge is an impressive structure that was built in the mid-1930s under the Roosevelt administration. At 5,900 feet, the weather's cool and comfortable, even late in the summer, and with one foot in front of the other, we began our 6-day walk along the fabled Timberline Trail. A trip like this is the result of months of work and preparation. Transforming a group of baby boomers into conditioned backpackers requires months of training that included several short conditioning hikes on the mountain. A 20-year-old might have little trouble going out grain, but add 20 years to that and proper conditioning is essential to safely and enjoyably traversing this mountain. We took our own advice and spent months walking after work and taking every opportunity we could to get in shape for the trip. Venturing into this wilderness area requires a wilderness pass that's clearly displayed for all to see. It's one of the ways the Forest Service is able to assess the traffic and subsequent impact on this fragile mountain environment. Just a few hours into the trip, it became clear how important map skills are for finding your way around. It's something we did frequently to check our bearings, take a break, and take in the scenery. Our first day, we'd planned an arduous 5 miles that would take us down steep canyons and up to Paradise Park. We didn't know it then, but that 5 miles would be just a glimmer of the challenges that lay ahead. Our first stop at Paradise Park on the west flank of the mountain was everything we'd hoped the name inferred. At 5,800 feet, this pristine alpine area is blanketed with flowers, and thanks to the efforts of the Forest Service, is maintained as a fragile and protected area where no-trace camping practices are required. Fires aren't allowed, and incredible majesty is found in all directions. We knew the second day would be a long one for us, a trying 7.8-mile journey that would take us 2,000 feet down through old-growth forest to the headwaters of the Sandy River. This is Sandy River Glacier and Sandy River Canyon, the beginning of the Sandy River that flows down through Portland. And we'll be hiking right around the base of this ridge. We'll meet Ramona Falls just a few miles down. And then back up to breathtaking Ramona Falls, a wonderful place to contemplate the beauty this world has to offer if we just take the time to draw it in and appreciate it for what it is. From Ramona Falls, the last few miles climb gently to our next stop, the muddy fork of the Sandy River, and a much-deserved bankside rest.
Remember, products we use in the show are available at Guard Sports, Oshman's, and Sport Mart.
A lot's changed in backpacking technology in just the last 10 years, all of them designed to enhance the outdoor experience. Russ is wearing an internal frame pack while Rick is wearing an external frame pack, two different designs for two different applications. In the case of the external frame pack, it's designed for carrying heavy loads. Rick has it fitted to him just perfectly. His load is on his hips just like it should be with this wide belt. He has no more than just a finger gap in between his back and the pack frame. The sternum strap keeps the straps tight to him, and the load is off his shoulders and on his hips. That's optimum comfort. And Russ is wearing an internal frame pack. Internal frame pack, the design on this keeps the load close to your back, very, very comfortable, and is ideal for climbing applications or weekend or short outings of just a few days. Again, it has great capacity, and he's got it fitted to him just perfect as well, where the load is on his hips. Got this sternum strap to keep the straps in tight, and the load isn't on his shoulders. Again, it's very close to his back, just the way it's supposed to be. One of the really neat advantages of packs today is all of the adjustments that can be made, so you can tailor the fit of the pack to your precise body type. It also has a lot of storage. This can be used, for instance, to carry a tent on the outside. He can keep his heavier gear up top, a lot of easy access. And again, the mesh pockets for water bottles, or if you, in the case of wet clothes, for drying. And that's where it all starts, right here on your back, because this is going to be your traveling companion for, like I say, anywhere from a day to a week, or even longer in some cases. We knew before setting out that our third day would likely be one of our most challenging. A continual 5-mile climb with 40-pound packs would take us up Bald Mountain to a view we savored and enjoyed together. This really puts a unique perspective on what we've accomplished so far. Right up on that bluff there is Paradise Park, where we were 2 days ago. We've come all the way down around this ridge. You can even see the trail over here. We camped down there last night. Now we're on top of Bald Mountain. We'll make our way back around this, and about 4 miles and we're in camp. Right, we've done a lot. Yeah. Good job, you guys. Good job. Then on up a ridgeline that found us taking frequent breaks to regain our strength and ambition. The payoff is a beautiful camp appropriately named Eden Park. By late August, Eden Park is an inviting meadow rimmed with ancient trees and tiny creeks that crisscross an expansive meadow. We were visited by the locals who scarfed up anything that wasn't nailed down and lulled to sleep by the splendor of the northwest corner of the mountain. Another piece of essential equipment while you're on the trail is a really high quality tent, but lighter is better when you're backpacking. Peak One's done a great job with this Aries series. They use 7,000 series aluminum for their poles, which really lightens up the load. But the thing that really makes this a nice rough weather tent is the fact that the fly comes all the way down to the ground. You have a bathtub bottom to this so that it keeps you nice and dry. You always want to use a ground cloth, and this one's pretty well fitted to this tent. Don't want any edges hanging out because if it does rain, that water will collect underneath the bottom of the tent, and that'll make for a miserable night. Another thing is, of course, your sleeping gear. In this case, again, lighter is better, but you also want to make sure that you're protected against the cold. Up here at altitude, weather can change in a heartbeat, and in the case of the trail we're on, this is plenty warm enough at 15 degrees at the Peak Point Crestone. Again, lighter is better. Our fourth day on the trail was planned intentionally as a short hike of only about 3 miles. We wanted to soak in the area, give our baby boomer bodies a welcome one-day break. Hiking along the north flank of the mountain exposed the enormity of this country and other mountains in the Cascade chain, like 12,000-foot Mount Adams just a short hop to the north. One of the most striking features of this 40-mile hike is the diversity. In 40 miles, you walk through deep forests, exposed ridges, dozens of creeks, through lush alpine meadows, across snowfields and stark desert landscapes that are vast and unchallenged. On this north side, though, it's all beautiful, with wildflowers that reach out in all directions, hunting the sun and bathing the earth in a palette of colors only Mother Nature could create. Hydration, that is, drinking plenty of water, was one of our most valuable practices. You don't want to get thirsty on the trail because it will surely affect your performance and energy level, and no matter how high up on the mountain you are, never drink water directly out of the stream. Always purify your water before drinking it. Making water, as we called it, was a daily ritual that took about an hour of camp time, but was an essential component of the trip. It was clear that changes were in store as we set camp at Elk Cove. Clouds raced around the top of the mountain. The temperature noticeably cooled. We didn't know it then, but the seasons were changing, and fall was starting to exert its influence and its might. Our short fourth day hike made the 5 miles to Cloud Cap a quick 4-hour jaunt that allowed us plenty of time for pictures, some side trips up the mountain, and even a pace that carried us up and down several steep canyons and at least one washed out trail. In just 4 days, we'd grown to miss the comforts of the simplest of items. A picnic table to sit at, running water that didn't need purifying, outhouses, a place to clean our faces, and a shower. Food is an essential ingredient in any backpacking trip. As most any book on the subject will tell you, a backpacking trip's no time to go on a diet. And with the strides that have been made in freeze-dried foods, they're easier to prepare and more delicious than ever. If you can boil water, you can eat like royalty on the trail. We enjoyed everything from sweet and sour pork, teriyaki chicken, and fresh-tasting vegetables to tasty berry cobblers. Cloud Cap is the only part of this hike that makes contact with the road. For many climbers, it's the start of an ambitious and strenuous climb of the challenging north face of this mountain. Leaving Cloud Cap, the trail ascends about 1,700 feet in 2 miles. It's the steepest climb of the hike, but with the experience of just a few days earlier, we made the trip with relative ease as we took in a stone warming shelter that had surely been the salvation of many a hiker or climber that had challenged this ridge in less than optimum conditions. Now on the east side of the mountain, the landscapes changed considerably. This is rugged, desolate country, and at 7,300 feet, We would climb to about 8,000 feet before making a long 5-mile descent across vast snowfields that left little room for error, then down deep gorges and across glacial creeks that we'd again have to climb out of. Atop this part of the trail, you see survivors everywhere. At a glance, it is just gnarled, twisted wood, but closer, you find it is a living resident of the high country, a survivor who thrives in this harsh environment year after year that lies buried under snow all but a few months of the year. We marveled at the starkness of this country. It had a certain strength of character and charm we'd never met, now looking at it carefully, appreciated deeply. The most important development in outdoor safety has been the innovation of global positioning system, GPSs, used initially by the military, has now been expanded use in the private sector, and it's an item that was once a luxury is now a necessity out here. In fact, I don't recommend going out here in this kind of country without one in your pocket. For hunters, boaters, certainly backpackers, this is essential equipment. And the features on these have been expanded to include things like a compass or elevation. They're very, very easy to use as well, and as you can see, they're lightweight, so easy to pack. Probably one of the most important things, though, is making sure you have a fresh load of batteries. It's surprising how many people come out here and they only have a 50% charge. Make sure before you set out that you do have a fresh set of batteries in your GPS. That's essential. Again, GPS is no longer luxury. It's really essential equipment when you're out here in the high country. When they're as small and easy to use as this and affordable, there's no reason you shouldn't have one in your pocket. Looking back up at Gnarl Ridge, it's easy to see why it had been so named. The miles of progress we'd left behind us somehow had been summed up looking back at this dramatic ridge. But there were more creeks to cross and hills to climb, and with the weather now enveloping us, we began looking for camp knowing that a full-scale storm was about to unleash itself on us. The temperature had plummeted 25 degrees in just a day, and the 8 miles we'd logged had taken their toll on us. There was very little talk as we readied our camp against the wind and rain that had begun to unload its fury. It would be a long night as the storm pounded our tents and robbed our sleep. The last day of an extended trip like this is often pretty somber. It's a mixed bag of feelings as you break camp. The experiences you've shared will now become memories. The small things, like plucking some fresh huckleberries for a morning snack, will surely be remembered, while the fatigue and challenge of the trail will soon be forgotten and replaced with stories of sunrises and sunsets. All the words have been used, camaraderie experienced, challenges overcome, and now, somewhat abruptly, it's over. There's little to say except to break camp and head home. After 7 days, this is the end of the trail for us. Just a few miles we'll be taking out where we started. A trip like this awakens your spirit of adventure and confirms the fact that with proper planning and preparation, you can achieve well beyond your daily routine. It also reminds us of the simple things in life, the conveniences of home, camaraderie and friendship, and the beauty of an alpine meadow dancing in the wind. I'm Trey for America's Outdoor Journal, and I hope to see you on the Gray Line. Take care.